All right, I'm here with Bajun Mavalwalla, candidate for the 5th District of Washington State. Um, this is Marxisms. Please like and subscribe. And without further ado, here is Bajun Mavalwalla. How you doing, Bajun?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back on, Mark. I
It is.
really appreciate it. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
It is, right? It is always a pleasure having you on. So how are things going with your son? I understand there's a trial coming up really soon. 18th?
It is coming up on the 18th. We just had another preliminary hearing yesterday. Sat in court for about 2 hours. I understood some of what was going on. The prosecution made a bunch of requests. They don't want, they literally, of the defendants that are there's 3 left. The only name they ever mentioned was my son's, and they said, we don't want him talking about being a veteran. He shouldn't be allowed to say that. And they said, we don't want to be prejudicing the jury, so we don't want to be able to talk about his background or character.
I think character is kind of important in a situation like that, don't you?
Well, you would think. The point is that they have a terrible case against Beji, and they know it, which is why they keep on trying to change the rules. And, they want the rules different for different people. In fact, the judge said twice yesterday, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You don't get it both ways.
Oh, nice.
So the case is moving forward, and, it's a scary thing. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
They are bringing my son up on charges that
I'm scared.
that are designed for insurrectionists and for terrorists.
Yes.
And, they are utilizing this law because of a nonviolent protest.
It's not like Spokane was January 6th. Now I didn't see any, those charges might have worked in that case because it was clearly a conspiracy,
Oh, absolutely.
There's huge differences here. I mean, that was set up, by the president, actually.
Sure, but also there's a huge difference between Merrick Garland, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of Merrick Garland.
Yeah.
But, compared to Pam Bondi and to Todd Blanche, who has taken over this case, by the way, they've moved Serrano out of the picture, mostly because he's incompetent, and they have brought in directly Todd Blanche. Now, again, I'm not a huge fan of Merrick Garland, but next to Todd Blanche or next to Pam Bondi, the guys like John Marshall or Oliver Wendell Holmes, these people are... Railroading is not what they're trying to do. They're literally trying to change what freedom of speech means. They're trying to change what the freedoms that American citizens have enjoyed for, 2.5 centuries into basically asking permission of their leadership before they can exercise any kind of opinions or rights. That's a very, very dangerous world that they're trying to go in. Now, the direction they're trying to go in. But the thing is, Mark, is that I see them failing. Over and over again, they are failing in these cases. And I think that we are moving in the right direction. The American public is sick of it.
Yeah.
Conservatives are sick of it. This, I think, is one of the most interesting things I see here in Eastern Washington. This is a very conservative district.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you about, I want to ask you a question about that, but go ahead and finish what you're saying.
Well, the thing is that, they're looking for some normalcy. Isn't that wild? They would actually like to know what the rules are.
Yep. That is kind of interesting. Yeah.
So the case is going forward. Like you said, it is on the 18th of May is when it starts.
Okay.
The pro bono attorney has flown up here for for the preliminaries on the hearings and to interview people and to go over the case and finalize strategies, meet with the other attorneys. So, and the good news is that there's some very, very sharp attorneys on the defense team now.
Oh, good.
And I've been very pleased with what we've been seeing lately. Certainly we would like to have a lot more freedom to discuss. But one of the things that the U.S. Attorney's Office is, I know this is going to sound crazy, but it's actually true. They don't want us to be able to mention the First Amendment in this case.
I just went to dual screen so that people could see my face. It's like, oh my God, what?
Of course, we all know that the whole point of this is First Amendment rights.
Now, is this is not the judge, or this is the prosecution?
No, this is all coming from Blanche and the U.S. Attorney's Office.
So that leads me to the question I want to ask you real quick. That's right along these lines. What are the judges like there? I know probably mostly Republican appointees, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, because there are a lot of serious jurists that are conservative.
Well, look, I've got absolutely no complaints about this judge.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she has been very fair, very smart. She is looking at past precedent, looking at other cases and rulings and how they apply. And I've got no doubt about the judge's integrity. And I don't have any doubts about a jury of our peers.
Right.
Now, of course, the prosecution is going to try to find people that are going to be frank, prejudicial.
Yeah. Of course.
And, people who don't like things like, truth, justice, liberty, freedom. But that's the way the jury process works.
Yeah.
And, the defense will also be able to cross-examine and choose jurors and eliminate people that are ridiculous. And the thing is that this is not an issue of left versus right.
No.
This is not an issue of Democrat versus Republican. This is not an issue of, some sort of government takeover or insurrection or anything like that. This is a simple matter of First Amendment rights.
Absolutely.
Do you have the right to protest? And that is concerning to me, that the U.S. Attorney would even ask, right, that the United States government would even ask to say to the jurors that jurors would not be allowed to consider First Amendment rights in a case that is clearly about the First Amendment.
That is absolutely absurd. Well, yeah, I mean that. Well, hopefully the judge just laughs at him.
I'm not sure where that is going to go. Most of the judge's rulings yesterday, she called preliminary. In other words, she has reserved the right to change her mind on the request from both the defense and for the prosecution.
Right.
And again, she did mention that, there are cases that get overruled, and she does not intend to get overruled.
Right. Oh, wow. Oh, that's, well, God, yeah. That could be a good thing, though.
I think that is a good thing.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't go to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Well, look,
I do not trust them.
You're absolutely right. The U.S. Supreme Court is is not a
They're activist. They're activist
yeah,
judges. It's what conservatives used to just complain about constantly. I know, I being a former Republican Party committee member, I mean, I used to hear it all the time. These damn liberal activist judges.
right.
Well, they weren't all of them. I mean, some of them were for sure, but these
And
guys, man, big time.
yeah, well,
Wow.
look, this case will not go to the Supreme Court.
No.
Um, and honestly, I cannot imagine a jury convicting my son.
I can't either.
The other two defendants, their cases are the same charge, and but the thing is that the activity from all of them was very, very different. Yet they're all facing the same ridiculous charge of conspiracy. This is another just blatant example of they had no intention of rule of law. What they are trying to do is let everybody know that if you criticize this government, this administration, it's against the law.
Yeah.
They will arrest you.
It's hard
And
to
they
believe.
cherry
It's hard to
picked.
believe with the Trump administration to be like that.
Well, again, it goes back to Lincoln, right? You can fool some of the people all the time, and all of the people some of the time, but
Yep.
you cannot fool all the people all the time.
Yep.
And I think that the American people are sick of it. They're sick of the chaos. They are sick of the rules being changed in the middle of things. They are sick of short-sighted decisions. And when I'm going out and talking to people, liberals and conservatives, they just want to know what the rules are. Farmers here, and it's a huge agricultural district,
Yeah.
right? I mean, half
Yes.
the population is Spokane County,
I'm going to ask you
but the
about that
rest
in a
of the
minute.
district is very rural.
Yeah.
And the farmers would just like a damn farm bill.
Yes.
It is years late. And farm bills are done every 5 years because the markets change, because climate changes, because the whole world global agricultural market is changing.
Yes. Big time.
So if you don't update the farm bill, you're operating years behind the markets. How do farmers stay in touch? So, another thing that they are very much disliking, how the Department of Agriculture said, well, we're going to give some bonus money to farmers. We're going to give them some relief money. But you know what farmers can't do with that money? They can't buy seed. They can't fix their equipment. They can't buy land. In other words, what they can't do is they can't use that money to invest in their business, which is their farm.
Right.
What they can do with that money is pay John Deere, pay Case, pay ADM,
Yep.
pay the banks. So what they can do with the money is they can essentially, they're acting as a pass-through. Farmers are given money, which they are required to then just hand over to big businesses, to banks, and to big ag. That doesn't help family farmers.
No. No. Yeah. It's I was going to ask you about that too, because it is a very rural district, and I know that's an important issue there. What about water and irrigation infrastructure? Is that an issue there too? Seems like.
In this district, the big issue with water is mostly the Snake River dams,
Okay. Right.
and those were settled with the tribes because the issue, of course, is salmon being able to run the river.
Right.
And back sort of home where you and I are from, they took 6 dams down on the Klamath River,
Yes.
which is great. And the river's wild again, and it's really, I mean, the speed at which the river's coming back to life is remarkable.
That's
And we've
awesome.
seen that in places like even the Los Angeles River,
Yeah.
where they've allowed more water to come in, how they recover. But the Snake River dams are a little bit different for a lot of reasons. One of them is that there are rail lines that run on either side of the river.
Oh, yeah.
And if you drop that water level, that hydraulic pressure that holds the rock and that rail base in place will start to collapse.
Yeah.
So now you have an infrastructure problem. I was in
Wow.
Pile Drivers Union, and I'll tell you, one of the only things harder than building a dam is dismantling a dam.
I was going to say that can't be easy.
So there was a very interesting agreement reached that for 10 years, now we're 2 years into that, so for 8 more years, the dams will not be touched. But from the Army Corps of Engineers, there's new technology of new turbines that will allow salmon and fish to run the river, where 90% of them can get through the turbines.
Oh, good.
Now, I've talked to a couple of experts who do want the dams removed, and they have pointed out that there are still issues with that. These are things that need to be studied. Another idea is to put small nuclear power plants on that massive concrete dam because the power infrastructure is already there, and that has water for cooling for the plant. Now that's a whole other environmental issue.
Look at, you're so smart. You went right into my next question. And I was going to ask you about affordable energy tied to hydro and nuclear power. How do you guys fix for nuclear power up there? You guys use it?
Well, I don't know if you know this, but the Tri-Cities, which are just outside the district, I mean, you drive across the line and just out there at Pasco and Kennewick and all, is where they produced the plutonium for the atomic bombs in World War II. It's actually a massive nuclear facility.
That's the place that we drove by.
Yes.
Oh, I was wondering what that was. When Sophia and I were there, we drove through that, and I was wondering, there was some military type of base there, and it looked different than anything I'd ever seen. So I'm like, this is something different.
Right.
That's what it was. Interesting.
It's still a laboratory there. You can do tours of it, which I really do want to go there and see it sometime.
Yeah, I would too.
But it's
so they produce plutonium, so they have centrifuges and stuff.
Right.
Right.
Well, I don't know if they use centrifuges there or if they use cyclotrons.
Oh, okay.
But, it's it is quite the facility. There's a lot of science going on out there.
Yeah.
Power generation is important, and we have up in Usk, up in Pend Oreille County, near the Indian Reservation, they took over a big old sawmill and have put a cryptocurrency facility that has, a massive amount of computer banks and all that for blockchain and for all of their, their boards and everything are in there, and you got to cool them so that they're right on the river. The thing is that the company had gone in and told everybody they were going to bring a bunch of jobs. Well, the mill used to employ 150 people, and this facility employs about 45. So not everybody's thrilled with it, but it's certainly something I don't know enough about to say I'm against it or to say I'm for it. But it is probably part of the future with these facilities for AI, which are just massive data centers.
Right.
I do not know. One thing I do know, let's start with what I do know.
Okay.
The idea that we're going to stop AI, the idea that we're not going to have data centers is ridiculous. It is here.
It is here.
It is going to continue to grow.
We need the power for it, though.
We do need power. You do need water. You do need cooling.
Yeah.
Now, there might be other technologies in the future.
I did a video on this subject, by the way, and AI is we're not prepared for it.
Well,
for the power, for the power. I mean,
I think yes.
The infrastructure is not prepared for it.
Well, I think also we need to be thinking beyond the if then. Let's take a look at the American power system. First of all, we're on a grid.
Yeah.
A grid is 1890s technology.
Yeah. That's for sure.
In a modern world, every single house with photovoltaic roofs, battery storage, maybe a
Yep.
windmill, a small windmill, or other things, every single house can generate more power
Yep.
than it needs.
Yep.
And instead of using it as a grid, use it as a network. So when your power goes out, you can actually feed off of your neighbors or the local power banks to make sure that everybody is supplied. So in other words, the power itself is free.
Yeah.
It's the infrastructure that is then paid for. And that again will help with this whole notion, because if every building out there is actually generating the power it needs, now there's going to be exceptions, obviously. A factory
Yeah.
can't be made big enough for that kind of power
No,
consumption.
but if every house has this, we'll have the extra power.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're going to have to end American capitalism for this to happen, you know.
Well, one of the interesting, well, see the
Or
thing,
get them involved.
well, I don't consider it a capitalism socialism question.
But people making money off of energy will, though.
Well, okay. Now, look, there's never been an economic technological revolution where there aren't losers and winners.
Of course. I don't have a problem with that.
How we handle it, but the other thing is that, you know, think of the infrastructure. It's massive.
Yeah.
This is not going to be, you know, tens of thousands of people losing jobs overnight, and
Yeah.
there's going to be new jobs generated along with these things. You know, I'm not some Luddite that says, "Oh my God, you know, AI is going to ruin the world."
Yeah.
Let's and also it's an interesting thing that happened at a debate that we had down in Walla Walla. They brought up some stuff with AI, and you know, we had 2 minutes to answer.
Right.
And one of the comments that was online was, "Well, none of these people understand what AI is." Rest assured, I know what AI is, but in 2 minutes, I sure as hell ain't going to be able to explain it all. So I wanted
No.
to answer a specific aspect to it. But AI is not new.
No.
We have been dealing with what we used to call GAI, generated artificial intelligence. It's 15, 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's only come into the marketplace.
Right.
And that is why it seems so new to people, and they seem to not understand where it's going. Will there be benefits? Tremendous benefits. Will there be problems associated with it? Absolutely.
Oh, trust me, I use AI for stuff, and trust me, there's problems. I prefer calling it AB, Amelia Bedelia, because I mean, literally, you have to spell everything out. It's like, otherwise, if you change one thing, it won't change. If you do more than one thing at one time, it doesn't always handle it. It's sometimes kind of frustrating.
And again, it's a new technology.
It's learning, yeah.
And what I'm trying to convince people of that are afraid of it is that the biggest catastrophe from the .com era was pets.com, right? That there was an overinvestment in this idea that, you know, there would be a completely online world
Yep.
and massive marketplaces and stuff like that. And yeah, if you worked for pets.com or you were one of the investors in it, um, it didn't work out so well for you.
Yeah.
But it didn't collapse the world.
I was no, that's a little side here. I was building a lot of that because Sonoma County, where we're from, was they were calling it something Valley along the .com Valley or something. Something that wasn't it, but it was something like that. But I was building those places as a sheet metal worker. And
Oh, with HP
I was
and
talking to people, and I'm like, "What do you do here?" Well, we don't really have a product yet.
yeah.
It was that, and that was towards the end of it. I'm like, this is over. I said that day. I went to my coworker and said, "This shit's over right now," and it wasn't long before the .com bust happened. It was pretty funny.
I think also, though, is that one of the great things about this country, Mark,
hmm
is that we have entrepreneurs willing to take those risks.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree. Well, they turned it
Because,
into something else.
oh, and that's right, right? There's always something
Yeah.
new if they're being creative.
Yep.
And, this is where I want to point out that I am very much a capitalist.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, you lose money.
Well, I consider myself a social democrat, and people don't really understand what that is. That means keeping free markets, but just taking care of people. Free
Yeah.
free healthcare, free education, stuff like that.
And,
Safety nets.
look, I spent quite a bit of time in Denmark. And you know
Yes.
what you find a lot of in Denmark?
Happy people?
Well, that too. Yachts.
Oh yeah.
There are a lot of yachts and
Yeah.
sailboats in the harbors in Denmark. That's not because of it being a socialist country. It is because they have
A free market.
made the livelihoods for people accessible. You get $22 an hour working at Burger King.
Right.
You can afford a nice apartment. You don't have to worry about health care. Neither does Burger King. This is what I'm trying to get across to people. Businesses will prosper if they are not required to provide health care all of a sudden once they have more than 50 employees,
Right.
which doubles or triples their operating costs. We're saddling small businesses, and we are stopping them from being able to grow by this system that we've set up. At the same time, the Republicans will run around and tell people, and Michael Baumgartner does this all the time. Oh, well, Obamacare doesn't work, so we should get rid of it. No. How about fixing it? How about actually, instead of making millions of people go without health care again like it was before Obamacare,
Right.
how about stop gutting it? And that's you, Mr. Baumgartner, right? How about we make those systems in the system that work and then start improving it? Evolution rather than revolution.
Baumgartner's right. It was a piece of garbage, but the idea was that it was a start, and it wasn't supposed to be permanent. We used to complain about that as Republicans, but I salute it now because I have a different opinion about this stuff. And yeah, it wasn't a good system. It was a little bit better, and it put people in the system so that they were getting, so that they had health care. So it was a good thing. It was a positive step, was what it was.
Right. But you're also one of the people that will remember where Obamacare came from. It was the Heritage Foundation.
That's right. That's right.
And on the executive summary, I believe it's in the first paragraph, it said right in there, it only works if everyone's on it.
That's right.
And that's the key.
Yep.
Right? That it is having equal access to health care. But that's not just for individuals. Democrats keep selling the wrong product.
I agree.
They go out there and they say, well, don't you love healthy babies? Okay, sure. Everyone loves healthy babies. How about this question? Don't you love healthy businesses?
Yeah.
Don't you love employees who show up to work?
Yep.
Don't you love hospitals where you don't have a massive percentage of the population that gets their general health care by going to the emergency room, which costs a fortune?
God, right.
And bankrupts. We're the only advanced country in the world where families go bankrupt because they have medical expenses.
Yeah, I know. I've actually posted in some of my videos. I think I did a video on that, and I've done so many now. But yeah, that was one of the things I pointed out was maybe it might have just been something else I posted somewhere, but um, over 500,000 people go bankrupt every year in the United States, and you look at every other country, it's zero. Even Japan, which is the most capitalist country in the world, has single payer health care.
That's one of the big questions I get. And don't get me wrong, I love my fellow liberals, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what liberals have a tendency to do is they love their favorite flavor.
Yes.
And they come to me and they say, well, are you going to support Medicare for all? And I say, well, yes, if it can pass. I will support single payer if it will pass.
Mm-hmm.
I will support like an NIH system that the UK has if it will pass, or a system more akin to what they have in Germany and Scandinavia, or the Japanese system, or the Canadian system.
Mm-hmm.
I will support what we can pass.
Yes.
But you know what? The first thing I'm going to do is support what we already have and improve it.
Yeah.
We need to be thinking about things smart. And it isn't just in healthcare. Look at the Iran deal. This administration stupidly pulled out of the Iran deal. It was not a final solution. The Iran deal was a first step.
I was just doing a video on that. That was what I was doing. I don't know what I might have already posted that one, but no, I think I just did one because he just negotiated that. That's what I was doing. He just negotiated a new deal with Iran, and you know what? It looks really, really familiar.
Yeah, well,
because it's the 2015 Obama deal. So we went to war, spent lives and money to get back to where we are now, looking weaker, having less munitions, less money, created a global economic crisis, and it also that we could go back to what fucking Obama had in the first place.
Well, let's take a look at the foreign policy priorities of this administration. And Michael Baumgartner has been right there with his pom-poms cheering it on, saying what a great idea it is.
Rubber stamp Mike.
Starting out in Venezuela, we went in there because we didn't like a communist government. So we went from having a communist government under Maduro to a neo-communist government not under Maduro. We have gone into Iran, where we killed a bunch of people, have blown up probably 2/3 of our Tomahawk missiles. We are now low on it. Those things take 2 years and millions of dollars.
Just did a video on it.
So we've blown all this stuff up. And look at the great success.
Yeah.
The Grand Ayatollah Khamenei was killed. And now we have a Grand Ayatollah Khamenei.
Yep.
We had
more
15
radical
members of the we had 15 members of the Council of Experts in Iran, and now we still have 15 members of the Council of Experts in Iran.
And they're more radical, from what I hear.
All of the generals and colonels that were killed were simply replaced. The entire apparatus of the government of Iran is still in place. And so then, for the first time, Iran went and shut down the Straits of Hormuz. But we were going to fix that, so we shut down the Straits of Hormuz. I'm a little confused how that's an improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the audacity to complain that Iran has shut down the Straits of Hormuz because that's what we're doing, shutting down the Straits of Hormuz. The downrange consequences are far-reaching, and there's some countries that are getting a short-term gain out of it, but most countries don't want a thing to do with it because this is a fool's errand. We have not made any fundamental governmental changes to Iran.
Nope.
We have not improved international relations with Iran. We have not entered into a treaty with Iran because we had one and then we broke it.
But they hate us more now.
Well, see, that's the beauty of it. The conservative mindset of the 20% of the people who still, first of all, don't understand Iran and think that this is a good idea.
Right.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
They don't understand Iran.
It goes back 40 years. No, it goes back longer.
Yeah, it goes back a lot longer. So
Yes.
The thing that we've got to look at is, if indeed we want to make changes there, then we're going to have to keep our word.
Yeah.
Now, would you sign an agreement with the United States?
Not at
We're
this
trying to
point.
throw countries out of NATO. We are breaking our treaties and our word left and right. We are leaving our allies like Ukraine high and dry. We are telling the EU that they're on their own, that we are not going to back them up in case they are attacked. What kind of nonsense is that? If we can't be held to our word, then why would anybody enter an agreement with us in the first
I
place?
have no idea.
So one of the things in my race is that I am talking about the codification of our government, because what we've learned, especially in this last version of this administration, is that the rules have to be spelled out. Our Constitution has to put a limit. We cannot allow a president to sell pardons, which is plainly being done.
Oh my God!
We cannot
Right?
allow this cryptocurrency to be a way of going around bribing government officials.
Yep.
I
Or
mean,
sue, or
sure,
using, or
50,000.
suing people, or lawyers and government entities. He's suing the IRS.
Well, lawfare. This is what's happening to my son, right?
Yes.
They are
Yes.
abusing law for profit and for political leverage and gain.
I haven't.
Now, Democrats, though, are not exactly pure as the driven snow.
No.
Nancy
Definitely.
Pelosi
Oh
and
God.
the Democratic leadership continue to say that we should be able to do insider trading in Congress.
I
when
know.
it's obviously should be illegal.
Definitely.
How far down the line do we get with a man like Eric Swalwell,
Oh God.
where women are still afraid to come forward? Now, thank God they have.
I mean, yeah, I'm so
But a
disappointed in
person,
him.
a
God,
person
that just
like
makes me
that
sick.
does not deserve to be in office. But moreover,
Yep.
a person like that needs to be prosecuted.
Yes, agreed. And I love that the Democrats dropped him like a hot potato. Hello, Republicans, wake up.
To their credit,
To their credit.
but not everything the Democrats are doing.
I know.
We need to be critical of ourselves.
Yeah.
As a nation, we need to be critical of ourselves. I remember watching the Nixon-Kennedy debates. You ever watch those?
Yeah, I have.
One of the things that JFK kept saying is, I'm not satisfied with this. We can do better.
Yes.
And that's what we should always be. A great nation
Yes.
and become a greater nation.
I have a question I want to ask you. Marco Rubio this morning was talking about the War Powers Act, and he believes that it's unconstitutional. Now, my view on that is that it's extra constitutional because it's not in the Constitution, but as a practical convenience, they allow the president to have a certain amount of time to go to war before he gets congressional approval. But Marco Rubio's spin on this is that it hampers executive power that never existed in the first place. Did you see this article? I was just
No,
like,
but he was actually harping about this a couple of days ago as well.
yeah,
Now, Marco Rubio is obviously off his meds, because
clearly.
if you look at his stuff from just a few years ago,
Oh yeah,
he was always a proper conservative, but
yeah,
an internationalist.
yes,
That our allegiances, our treaties, that our rule of law, that an orders-based world is what we should strive for, and it is. First of all, if you're a Republican, let's give the bottom line. It makes money.
yeah, God,
A
right.
rules-based world makes money.
Ugh.
It's good for business. So a chaos-based world is good for Wall Street,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Wall Street's making a ton of money right
Yes,
now.
yes, they are, and they seem to know ahead of time. Certain investors seem to know ahead of time what to sell and what not to sell. Lately, I've noticed. I mean,
It
I know that's always
does
gone
seem
on,
suspicious.
but it's going on a lot more. I'm sure you've seen that in the news.
Sure.
Yeah,
But that's not helping a true economy. That is helping the skimmers, right?
Well, what we have is crony. What we have is crony capitalism. We don't have, everybody talks about capitalism, and all these right wingers. They talk about how, oh, if you want this or that, you're a commie, you're a red, and I'm like, who's fed you that nonsense is the very people that are actually getting socialism in this country, and that's the wealthy
Right.
through subsidies and bailouts and bankruptcies and all that 9 yards. I mean, we should have bankruptcies, but these big companies that mismanage their business and they shouldn't get that. They shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Yeah, I agree. And we also need to be looking at the reality of trust busting.
Oh,
You do
yes.
not have capitalism if you allow an oligarchy.
Yes.
Anybody that's ever played a Monopoly game knows what happens when you give somebody all the money.
Mm-hmm.
And, what that does, though, is it stifles creativity. How are we supposed to have these great new technologies? Let's look at AI.
Yeah.
Now it looks like the Musk case really is, Musk being mad that he had a tantrum earlier, so now he's having a tantrum again, trying to get billions of dollars by, honing in on AI.
Yeah.
At the same time, look at Anthropic. Anthropic drew a moral line on what they would not allow their product to be used for, which was war crimes. We're not allowed to do war crimes.
What?
And, so this government shuts them down.
Jesus.
And, I mean, there's only one conclusion there, is that we want to commit war crimes.
Well, aren't we?
We are, but again, that is another difficult question.
It is.
The Gaza question keeps coming up everywhere I go, and people are surprised because they think, being a military man, that I've never met a bomb I didn't like.
Yeah.
And the thing is that Gaza is an example of war crimes. The difficulty is that Israel is a friend of the United States. It is much more difficult to tell our friends, no, you are crossing a line. We will not have it. When we're crossing those lines ourselves all the time. Now, the United States has a long history of hypocrisy.
Oh, God, yeah.
We don't need to go into that.
No.
But
so does Israel.
The reality is that what we need to do as a just society is always set the bar higher.
Agreed.
Make the improvements. I get asked an awful lot of, well, what are you going to do when you get to Washington, D.C.? And I said, well, let's talk about the realities. I'm going to be one of 435.
Yeah.
I am not. There are so many political people running for office, and I'm going to hit both Democrats and Republicans. I'm going to go and I'm going to clean up this town. I'm going to drain the swamp. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
You are going to be one of 435. So what am I going to do? First of all, I'm already triaging short-term, mid-term, and long-term plans. The long-term plans are things that are not only going to be well after I'm out of office, they are going to be things that are going to happen when I'm already 6 feet under.
Yeah.
We need to be thinking long-term. The government is not something that has to happen on a quarterly basis. But at the same time, relief for our people, economic opportunity for our children, care for our elderly, those things are the right now.
Yes.
So
the sooner we have free education in this country, the sooner this country will be back on its feet. I don't know why people don't understand how having a society that's educated, that doesn't have the burden of all of the student loans that we end up with, how that's not going to help our economy ultimately.
Sure.
Maybe it cuts into, they think maybe the 1% thinks it's going to cut into their wealth. I don't know.
Well, cheap labor is something that a lot of old-fashioned fuddy-duddy economic thinkers who believe, look, there's still a lot of people that believe that there is a finite amount of money.
Yes.
Economies don't work that way. They're dynamic.
Yep.
But you and I also should touch on something, because we're both big believers in education.
Yes.
But you and I are both trade unionists.
That's right.
Now, you retired
Proudly.
from the union,
Yes, I did.
but I went through the entire pile driver's apprenticeship course, and I
Yes.
can tell you without any hesitation that the pile driver's apprenticeship course was every bit as challenging as anything I did in any university.
Well, my 5 years in sheet metal workers apprenticeship were college credits. It was
Should
college.
be.
I got college.
Absolutely
I have
should be.
college credits.
And
We
it should be.
had trigonometry. I mean, I had to learn trigonometry. We had learn computer skills.
And the thing that is great about that is skilled labor makes money.
Yeah, I mean, I worked in the Bay Area. Who did all the high rises? Who did all the big jobs? It was
Yep.
They were union, and I'll tell you what. We on one of the I won't say what job it was, but it was in Oakland. It was a high rise in Oakland, and there was a non-union electrician on the job. Nothing but trouble. They were so over their head. I don't know what they were thinking by hiring this group. And nice guys. They were, a lot of them were Ukrainian, and really nice guys, but they weren't trained.
Yeah.
And all the problems these guys caused a lot of problems.
Since you and I are great at going down rabbit holes, did
Yep.
you see that union video of the two buildings that were being built? I think they were both hotels near San Francisco Airport. One was non-union and one was union.
I do know the story.
And the non-union one, they placed all the concrete in the elevator shaft, and it was 2 inches off.
Oh, yeah.
So the elevators wouldn't fit in it.
Oh, my God.
The cost overruns, the time overruns, the actual non-union building cost more
Yeah,
than the union-made one.
I believe it.
Now, I was in the pile drivers union, and we're talking some years ago. I mean, we're talking the early 90s, right?
Yeah.
A 12-inch, 40-foot pre-stressed pile, that's $5,000. And you get a bunch of rank amateurs that don't know how to put a choker on a pile to put it up on the manitowoc. They put it in the wrong place, and that pile breaks. $5,000 down the load.
Ooh.
Gone.
Ouch.
And that pile is not just going to show up on the job site all by itself tomorrow. So they're going to have to hire a trucker. They're going to have to bring it in. The crew is going to have to dispose of that pile. And all the time that, people would complain about us pile butts. If you ever saw us on the job, because we're all standing there with our hands in our pocket watching the hammer, ka-tong, 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 right?
Look like Caltrans.
That's when we're making our contractor money. When that hammer is driving that thing in the ground, that's profit.
Right.
It's when we're running around, choking the next pile, putting it into the leads, doing all of that very fast run around, turn around, put that piling in place, set up the transit, and start that hammer up again. That's when we're costing them money.
Yeah.
When we're standing around with our hands in our pockets watching it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's when the stuff's happening. The dude up on the rig is doing his thing, and
ask the airlines. The airlines are making money when the plane's up in the air flying.
Yep.
When it hits the ground, that's why the turnaround is so important, because that's when they're paying everybody to scramble to get bags and on and off and fuel.
That's when all the big work gets done, yeah.
Oh my God, the flux capacitor fell off. We better get that fixed, right?
Right.
So we need to be understanding economics.
Yeah.
And you brought up education, Mark. Let's start looking at what education means. We're teaching kids and college students to enter a 1995 economy. That economy's gone. We as a country need to be teaching kids negotiating skills, contract law, home economics, basics. We need to get the trade unions into the schools. In Germany, you know who teaches shop classes? The union. How about if you take 4 years of shop in high school, you get 2 years credit on your apprenticeship. Have the union provide the teacher. Did you know that the military pays for half of the salary of ROTC instructors? Let's have the union do that.
That makes sense.
And then have the union contractors provide the materials. And instead of coming out of high school with some skills,
Mm-hmm.
they're not just coming out of there with some skills, they're going to make more money.
Yeah, exactly. And we should have
Get them welding.
we should
Get
have the
'em-
opportunity to have trade schools too. I mean, if because not everyone's going to want to go to college. We should
Well,
have free. We
but
should
that's what I'm
have.
talking about. I think those should be
I know
the
that's what you're
union.
talking about. That's exactly, yeah. And because not everyone wants to go to college. I just wanted to point that out. Not everyone wants to go to college, so some aren't geared for that. I was smart enough to go to college. I didn't want to. I didn't want to
Yeah.
be indoors. I wanted to be outdoors working. That's why I became a construction worker. But then I ended up becoming an avid reader. Well, I was always an avid reader, but and then eventually went to college and did really well. I mean, I was highest honors and stuff, so I'm not
Well,
stupid.
let's look at what, but let's look at also another reality. We're living longer.
Yeah.
We are going to need to be considering that we are no longer going to just get a job like my parents. My mother went to work for Ma Bell. My father went to work for Chevron Corporation.
Yep.
And you could go from your first day on the job, in the mailroom, and then go through and retire out and have a pension
Mhm.
at Chevron Corporation.
Yep.
You can't do that anymore. So the reality is that we
It's
have to
harder.
have a retirement fund that follows us.
Yeah.
In Denmark, the way they do this is that everybody has the opportunity to join a union. No matter what job you have, those benefits and all that get paid into the union, which include your unemployment benefits and all these other kind of things. You don't lose a house if you lose your job in Denmark because you're going to have almost all of your salary for up to 2 years.
Yeah.
In 2 years, you can find a job. If you can't find a job in 2 years, you are either, the expert salamander surgeon that is, only got three opportunities for a job in the country, or you're probably somebody they don't want to hire.
Yeah.
So we want to be teaching kids for the future economy and encouraging entrepreneurism. These kids are going to be their own business people. They're essentially their own contractor. Let's start them off that
Yep.
way, and let's teach them negotiating skills. Let's
Yep.
teach them to be powerful when they're going in for job interviews, and they're not just taking whatever is offered.
Right. And let them learn and other languages, things that are going to be useful
Oh God, yeah.
in life. It's like my son, he's a linguist, and then he wants to get his PhD in sociology because he wants to
Well,
teach.
I think that we need to also not just teach foreign languages. Again, I think that every high school student should spend a year abroad. And I don't
Yep.
care if it's whatever language, whatever country it is, they're going to learn there's a different way to do things. That's always been America's strength is we had a massive number of new immigrants coming from all over the world with new ideas, and
Yep.
we didn't stagnate.
Right.
That
Well,
is our problem right now is we are stagnating.
we are. Well, Americans have a lot of weird notions about things. We think we're just a great country because we're great people, but when you look at it, we're every people. First of all, which is one of the things that does make us great too. But it's really it's geography. Geography is like one of the biggest things that makes us a great country. It has nothing to do with it. We would have to be complete morons to have gone through the Industrial Revolution, live on this land, and not be prosperous. You could have almost any system and be prosperous here.
Sure. Well, I mean, the big thing, of course, is that we had 2 world wars that were all fought on everyone else's soil.
Right, because of our isolation, which is one
Yeah.
of the other things part of that part of that whole dynamic there. We're
Yes.
we're
So
we're very protected.
what I'm kind of also hoping for, Mark, is going back to the realities of what I can do in Congress,
Yes.
is get to that forward thinking, things that are not going to happen within our lifetimes, but that's the things that we should do. One of the excuses I hear, I was reading on social media, which I don't do as much anymore, obviously, because I'm kind of busy these days. But I had some guy whining that he had paid off his property and now he has to pay taxes. And he doesn't have children and blah, blah, blah. So why should he have to pay? And the answer is because you're able to sell your agricultural products, in his case it was beef,
Yeah.
to the other people that are in this economy. It's because you have police and fire.
I was going to
It's because
say,
you have people making sure that your well water is
because you're
safe.
part of the community, buddy.
And so we all, it is a moral obligation, but we don't want to enforce morals.
No.
But we can enforce what's good for society.
Well, that's what we should be doing. Yeah.
But you've just killed the key word, Mark. The key word is should.
I know.
And we have to sell that. We have to be leaders. What are we teaching our children and future generations when it's whatever makes you money? When it's whatever gets you ahead? Screw the other people. Don't worry about global warming. Don't worry about our environment. What kind of thinking is that?
Right.
You know, who made the EPA in this country?
Nixon.
Richard Nixon, a Republican.
He was kind of forced. He was kind of
liberal.
forced. He was kind of forced into it, but yeah.
Regardless, it was
well,
the
you know
right
what?
thing
It was
to
Earth
do.
Day that was the big kicker there. Honestly, I actually just did a video on this too, on Earth Day, as a matter of fact. Yeah, and that's what happened was that he, it was so popular that he had to do it. So the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, and the EPA were all created under Nixon.
But that's okay. I'm asking to represent my district.
Yes.
And if my constituents are coming to me and pressuring me, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's what they're supposed to do.
That's right. That is right.
And you know what I'm supposed to be able to do if I disagree with them? CYA.
Yeah.
Can you articulate?
Yeah.
And if I can't tell them why I am doing something, I'm not saying I'm going to be able to convince someone, but if I can't say why I'm doing it, or I refuse to say why I'm doing it, then I'm not doing my job, and I would deserve to lose it.
That's right. And everybody out there, that is his job. There was a time when I was denied for unemployment, even though I was not. I was so totally eligible for it. What did I do? I went to my assemblyman, my state assemblyman, and I said, "Hey, fix this." And you know what he did? He fixed it. Because that's what they're for. It's his job. He didn't do it himself. He had his liaison do it.
Government.
Really nice guy. Worked with him. I've and actually ended up running into him here and there too because I did politics. But no, I mean that's what you should do. I had in fact, my wife at the time was like, "Oh, don't do that," and she thinks I'm stirring up trouble. And I'm like, "No, this is his job. They're fine with it." It was a pleasure working with him actually.
Well, look,
he was a Democrat and I was a Republican at the time.
We should be able to communicate across party lines.
Absolutely.
I was actually a little upset to see that Crenshaw got voted out of office down in Texas because he was one of the guys that I thought I would go knock on his door and talk with him. We have something in common. Now, he was an actual Green Beret. I was not. But I did work in the Special Forces. I was a SOD A commander. And we had a lot of things in common. That's a guy that I want to go have a beer with. We've got to be crossing those party lines. And the great example we have right now is Tom Massie and Khanna.
Yes.
These two guys are probably can't be farther apart on the political spectrum. Yet on the Epstein files and on the Iran war, they are on the same page and they are teaming up and working together. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Well, what was the biggest shock to me was turning on one of my favorite video programs, The Young Turks, and seeing Marjorie Taylor Greene on there. I was like, wait, what? Did I just go into an alternate universe?
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I still have some worries about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Me too, but man, God blessed her.
What she's proving is that she can be a learning animal.
That's right. I have a lot of respect for her now.
As we all should be. We should be learning.
I no longer call her Marjorie Trailer Park Greene anymore. I dropped the trailer park thing because she's still. I still don't disagree with her, or still don't agree with her politically on a lot of things. But my God, at least she's got some ethics.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to have to bounce here relatively soon because I'm tired of paying parking tickets in
Oh,
Spokane.
yeah,
But,
definitely.
you know, I want to close out with one thing that I think that might surprise some people. I am optimistic about the future of this country, Mark.
Good.
With all the damage that has been done by this administration, and it's tremendous, and with my gripe with Michael Baumgartner's not personal. He
No.
was running Bloomsday. I had a booth out there. We were giving otter pops to the runners and stuff until we ran out of them.
Mm-hmm.
40,000 people ran Bloomsday here in Spokane.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a hot day, but
Mm-hmm.
Michael Baumgartner, bless his heart, he was running the race. I was standing on the sides out there.
Oh, nice.
I think I'm a little too old and fat, and my back and my knees are not necessarily up to things.
I hear you.
But I got to get back in shape so I can run it. But he went by, and he waved. I waved. He's a nice enough guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm
This
sure
is
he
not
is.
a personal gripe against him. These are
Nope.
political gripes against him.
Yep.
But we are a great country because of compromise, because
Exactly.
of working across aisles. And I am optimistic about it. Now, again, my biggest gripe with Michael Baumgartner is he's playing lowest common denominator politics in order to move up the Republican apparatus in the House of Representatives.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what he's doing, but it's screwing his constituents. That's why I'm challenging him. Right? He is not looking out for his constituents.
I agree.
At the same time, part of leadership. Yeah, but at the same time, part of leadership sometimes is you have to go and you have to sell to your constituents why you are doing something. They'll appreciate the honesty.
Yep.
Even if they still disagree with you on it.
Yep.
That's the obligation of a representative in a representative government.
Yeah.
But I'm optimistic. I think the country's going that way. I don't think it's just a revolution where we're shifting left to right. I think that there's more and more candidates out there that are saying we are going to be talking to the people directly.
The younger generation especially.
It is. We've got a great young candidate here named Kevin Fagan. He's running against me.
Yep. I'm familiar.
Mark Kidd. A really bright future.
Yeah.
But my argument is that he's not quite ready for the House of Representatives.
Sure.
But he has every right to run.
Absolutely.
And there are people that are saying that, well, he shouldn't be running or anything. I'm like, no, that's not how democracy works, folks.
Yeah.
He should be invited to the forums, and he wasn't invited to all of them.
And that's wrong. Yeah, I agree. That's wrong.
Candidates should be able to express their views in the public forum.
Yep, I agree.
And that's how democracy works.
Yep.
The money's killing us. This reliance on money, and politicians love the big money because it insulates them from the voters. If they have a ton of money, they can just make commercials and tell people what they want to show them rather than go out and interact with them and talk with them and go into places where they don't necessarily agree. Mark, I got to tell you, when I go down to Pomeroy, which is the reddest county in Garfield County in the state, there's not a whole bunch of blue down there.
Nope. Bet not.
But they were surprised. I met the chair of the Republican Party there, coincidentally, and I said, I'm more than happy to come down and talk to your organization. Now, they aren't going to take me up on it, which is a shame.
It is.
But the offer's there. The offer's still out there. Let me make it clear. I will go down to Garfield County and meet with the Republican Party if they would like.
Nice.
But the thing is that we have to be willing to talk to everybody. That's how democracy works.
Yes. Yep. That's right. And that would be your job as a representative to anybody in your district, man, that you work for them. And that's what I like about you. You know that.
Well, That's the way it should be.
It is. Agreed.
Yeah. And I don't want to take it. And I'm looking
Yep.
at the clock, and my battery light just came on. So
Okay.
I'm going to have to run.
All right.
Mark, I love doing these shows with you.
I do too.
We will have to make sure we hit them up regularly. And
I would love that.
Discuss the issues and, hold my feet to the fire, man.
I'll have some more. I didn't get through all my my questions, but I'll have some more.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Okay. Thanks, Bajun.
Thanks a lot.
Good luck, buddy. See ya.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.